So we're going to take you around this caravan today. It's a Bailey Pegasus Rimini Grande, or Grand Rimini should I say. It is currently in our workshop still, so you have to bear with me going around the van. It may be a bit more difficult than normal. However, we've got at the front of the van, we've got the hitch up seat, we've got the hitch, jockey wheel and handbrake, and your connection to the car, and also your breakaway cable. This is all stuff we'll take you through in person here on site. Coming down the side of the caravan, you've got your wind down legs on either side at the front of the van to stabilise the caravan while you're on site. You would never lift the caravan with these wind down legs. As I said, they are only there for stabilising the van. It could actually potentially damage the floor of the caravan if you decided to lift the caravan with these legs. Then got a storage locker for accessing underneath the front seats of the caravan. You've then got your water pump connection, which very simply, to connect the water pump, you press down the blue trigger on top, pull the pump away, or push the pump into the side of the van, and the pump itself will drop down inside the aqua roll. I'll demonstrate the rest of the filling system once we go inside the van. You've then got your Truma heating flue on the side of the van. You don't ever cover this vent up. It is there to allow the heating and hot water systems to breathe. So like I said, don't cover it up and don't lean anything against it, because it could potentially get very warm when the heating system is running. You've then got your gas locker on the side of the caravan. So in the side locker here, you've got your 2 gas bottle tie downs where you can carry a maximum of 2 6-kilogram propane gas bottles. And you've got your pipe work connection going to the top of the bottle. It is a reverse thread fitment, so it needs to be screwed into the bottle the opposite way as what you would in a Coke bottle, for instance. Then got your motor mover and wheel nuts. Your motor mover will actually demonstrate while you're here on site, and will also torque the wheel nuts to the correct manufacturer's setting before the caravan leaves site. The fresh water that goes in the front of the caravan, you can see down there, has to come out somewhere. And on the side of the van, you'll actually see there is 2 grey waste pipes. Now the 2 grey waste pipes will have 2 bits of pipe work that push into them in them larger diameter circles. And they'll go down inside the waste master. As you can see here, we're using a barrel to do that, but you normally have a waste master lay down the side of the van. The idea is the aqua roll is 40 litres and the waste tank is 40 litres. You then got your storage for underneath the rear bunks, and at the back of the van you've got your toilet system. Top tank here will take 3.5 litres of water prior to use and a cap full of the pink fluid, which is your toilet flush tank. Then below that in this locker, in the locker below, you've actually got your toilet flush tank, which you release by pulling up the orange handle, pulling the cassette towards you. The neck will turn out so it allows you to tip the waste away. The grey cap you see here is a measure for the toilet tanks, and then you've got an orange pressure relief button on the back of that toilet cassette, so when you're tipping the waste away, the waste doesn't split and splatter back at you. As you can see, that cassette lives in that little hole just down the back there. We go back around to the front of the van and show you the last bits on the other side. On the front of the van on the opposite side, you've got your other wind down leg. You've got your barbecue gas points. You've got a storage locker for accessing the front storage on the van on the left hand side. Your motor mover and wheel nuts, which we've already spoken about on the other side of the van. And then towards the back of the van, you have your mains power connection. So your blue cable goes into the side of the van just here, and that'll put the mains power into the van. And then next to that, you've got a 3-pin socket, so you can have power coming out to your awning. Just going to take you to the rear of the van also. Underneath the rear of the van, you'll actually see that you've also got your other 2 wind down legs, which stabilise the caravan, and like I said, you'd never lift the van with these because it potentially damage the floor of the caravan. Coming onto the inside of the caravan now, as I said, the engineers are still working on the van, so you'll have to bear with me on the inside of here. You've got your main control panel as you come in the door on the left hand side, and so on your mains power, you've got the power switch just here. You've got your battery level at the top. You've got your water pump run just here on the left hand side, and then you've got your internal lighting and your awning lighting. So like I said, mains power and water pump run, battery voltage at the top. So to fill the water system, you're first of all going to need to come over to every tap on board the caravan, and you're going to open all the taps on the hot side of the water system. Obviously I'm just shutting them off because the system's already full, but you'd leave them open. You'd come underneath the seat next to the sink, and you'll be looking for a yellow valve That yellow valve is the fill and drain valve essentially. So if that valve is parallel with the floor, you can actually fill the water system up on board the caravan. If that valve is pointing upright towards the bottom of the seat, then it'll actually drain all of the water out of the system on board the caravan. So to fill it parallel with the floor, all the taps open and your aqua roll connects on the outside. Once you're at that point, you come back over to the control panel by the door. The water pump switch, when it's off, will have no light on, and then when you turn it on and the taps are open, it'll actually start filling the water system on board the van. Once the water system is full and you've got water coming out of every tap on board the caravan, so let me just show you what I mean by that. When you've got water coming out of every tap on board the caravan, as you have now, you can then shut all of the taps back off on board the caravan so that the water system is filled up, and at that point you can start thinking about warming the water on board the van. So the control panel up here, just behind, as I said, the van's still in the workshop at the moment, but I'll just take you through the control panel. Here on the left hand side, you've got your internal room temperature for the caravan. So you can spin the dial round to the correct room temperature you want it to be, for instance 20 degrees. Press the central button in, and that will select 20 degrees of room heating for the caravan. I'm just going to turn that off now. It's rather warm outside, so I don't think we need that on at the moment. The next one across that you see here is your water temperature. So you've got water system off, water system eco, which is around 35 degrees of water, 35 to 40 degrees of water temperature. You've then got hot, which is 50 to 60, I'd imagine, somewhere near there. And then you've got boost for when you're showering on board the caravan. Now to set one of these water temperatures, you'll very simply press the eco button, press the central button again, and it'll come up the top here, letting you know that you're running on the eco power source, eco setting for the water heater itself. For now, I'm just going to turn that back off again. The next one across here is the amount of power you have coming into the caravan from the caravan site you're on, or the gas supply that if you want to use gas. So if you want to use gas as a sole power source for your heating and hot water, you can press the central button and the gas systems will ignite. If you want to use a combination of gas and electric at the same time, more specifically 1000 watts of power, you can select mix 1. Mix 2, 2000 watts of power and gas at the same time. Electric 1, 1000 watts of power on its own. And electric 2, 2000 watts of power on its own. To select the relevant power, you'll press the central button here, and that will allow you to use the power supply you would like to use. Now it will depend on what site you're on to what you set that to. For instance, if you've got 1000 watts of power available, then you'll select the electric 1 if you don't want to use the gas with it. And if you wanted to use gas with it, you'd use mix 1, which is 1000 watts of power and gas at the same time. On the end here, you have your fan speed. So you've got fans off, and you can select vent if you want to use the fans, and then you control the fan speed on the dial in the center, and you can select the relevant fan speed that you want to use. The fans will kick in even if you haven't got the heating turned on to use as a fan system in the van. It is not air conditioning, it is just a blown air, a bit like a fan in your house. Down the bottom of the screen, you have 3 options that you can see down here. You've got your timers for your heating and hot water systems, which for that I advise you read the manual for. You've got your time set for your control panel, and then you've got some advanced settings in the end here, which are more for the engineers. But like I said, you can actually set programs in there for if you're away on holiday, so you can set your heating and hot water to come on at different times of the day if you wish to. The cooker itself, the 240 electric ring at the back here, will only work when you connect to mains power. The rest of the rings and the hob and grill and oven will work off your gas supply as you'd expect it to. Microwave, again, works very much like your household appliance. Set your time, press the start button, and away you go. You've then got the fridge. So the fridge has an off position at the top here, which you can just about see when the video clears up, hopefully. So you've got your off position at the top. You've got 240 mains for when you're connected on a mains power site. You've got your 12 volt supply coming from the car when you're towing down the road, so you can use the fridge's call box. However, for that to work, you'd need to connect to the car first, as it runs off the car 12 volt supply, not the caravan 12 volt supply. And to select that, you just spin the dial round to the 12 volt option, just there. Once you connect to the car, and away you go. You can also run the fridge on gas if you wish to. Now you spin the dial round to the bottom here, press in the gauge on the left hand side and hit the igniter at the same time. Once the fridge is ignited, you continue holding the gas valve for a further 5 to 10 seconds, then slowly release the valve once it has ignited on gas. You'd know if it's ignited on gas by this little red line here, coming round into the green on the right hand side of this control panel. And if that red line stays in the green, that means the fridge is ignited and you don't need to do anything else with it. Obviously, if that orange line stays in the white, then it could potentially mean you've got air in the system, and what you probably need to do is come over to the hob, ignite the hob, and get the hob running completely first, and then you should have gas through to every other component on board the caravan. Underneath the bed on the right hand side, as you head towards the back of the caravan, you will actually see that you've got your battery box for the van, and the panel there just sits on top of that, so the battery doesn't so the battery is sealed away underneath the bed. And you've also got the carpets of the caravan underneath the bed also. You've got your main consumer units, a bit like you've got a home for your 240 volt supply. So the last part of the caravan we're going to go through is the toilet system in the bathroom. Now next to the toilet, you've got a blue flush button, which you'll press that button to get the toilet system to flush. You've got a full indicator light for your toilet waste cassette, which will illuminate with red when the cassette is full. Then down the front of the toilet, you have your waste handle, which you push across to open up the toilet waste cassette. And to shut it off, you pull it back across towards this side of the van, or to the door side of the van. If you have any further questions on the Bailey Pegasus Grande Rimini, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at the Caravan Company, and we'd be more than happy to help. We appreciate the business, and we look forward to seeing you here on site when you collect your caravan soon. Thank you for now. Bye-bye.